Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to do a recap video of my travels to Lake Merwin with my provider Jenny. It was my first overnight with her and we went to her home away from home lakeside cabin in Lake Merwin. It was such a fantastic trip. We left Wednesday, August 19th and we came back Thursday, August 20th. It was a great time. I learned a lot from her and it was great to just do so many adventures with her. So Jenny picked me up at 9 a.m. at my house. I packed my backpack, my day pack, and some food in my water bottle, and my tennis shoes in another bag. Then we went to Safeway and got some meals and some more snacks and fruit for our time there, and it was on the way to where we were heading. So we were heading to Washington, and then we arrived at like maybe 11-ish, and then we unpacked, we got the food in the refrigerator, and we just kind of like relaxed. And Jenny likes to paint rocks, so she went up there with her daughter Erica, my other provider, and they were painting rocks because they did a trip together last week there, and then they wanted to hide the rocks but they forgot. So Jenny wanted me to eat something, relax, and then we decided to paint some more rocks. And then we went on a hike, and then we brought like 10 or 15 rocks and we hid the rocks through the meadows, and those were the videos that I posted on my channel of the trip. Only 2 videos. I didn't do anything else besides those 2 videos. And then it was a hot hike. We went 6 miles in woods through the meadow in the sun, and it was a really peaceful walk. We didn't pass anyone besides a group of 4 people, and I liked how it was shaded. It was in the woods. I got to see nature, and it was really fun to just be out in nature all day long. After our hike, we went down and drove to the lake, and we just sat on the dock and just relaxed some more. It was nice because it was hot and we were sweating a lot and we became overheated. And then when we went down to the lake, it was just cooler. We stuck our feet in the water, and then it was 6 o'clock at that point, so we drove around the property because Jenny has some friends that lives close to them on the property of their house that they have. So we passed by one of their cabin's house and they were there. So Jenny kind of like honked the horn and tried to call them, and then I got to meet Jenny's family's friend, and it was cool because it was also really cool to meet him because I just knew that they were family friends, and like, oh, it was fun. But we actually, the friend who we ran into at the campsite, he had a boat on the dock. So when we went to the lake, we went on his boat to just be on there for like a minute, and we took a picture and we sent it to him, and then we drove up to their place. And then it was fun because they have the same kind of boat that Jenny and her husband has. So eventually I'll be able to go on Jenny's boat. And it's like, I don't know, I kind of have a fear of boats. I don't want to get seasick. It's a moving vehicle and I'm not really used to boats. I didn't really grow up with boats. I grew up with cars, so it's just a different kind of thing. But it was nice to just see what the boat is like. And then after that, we were cooking dinner. So we cooked chicken and roasted potatoes and carrots in the air fryer. We worked as a team, so we were doing it together, and she lives in like a cabin RV, so like they have electricity and water, and it was easy to just cook in there. But it was so narrow, I felt like I had to like kind of like share the kitchen with her because it was just so narrow. So I was helping her too, and then she taught me how to slice little whole baby potatoes, and we made the chicken together, and I put the carrots in the air fryer, and we seasoned them and put olive oil on it, and then we had dinner on the back patio, and the back patio was covered, so that was nice. And by then it was like almost 7:45, and it was like pitch dark, and I wanted to see the sunset, but apparently there was no sunset, so I couldn't film any sunset. So after dinner we talked, we had some really good conversations while we were eating and just catching up, and it was just fun to learn about differences between different generations and what generations grew up with, and it talked about just my family, and it was just really fun to learn from her, because she's in her mid-50s and I'm in my mid-20s, so it was good to just learn my generations, and I don't know, I love learning about that. We cleaned up from dinner. They didn't have a dishwasher, so we just used 2 plates in the air fryer and like a pan, so it was not like that much work to clean up. And I wanted to see the sunset point that they usually go to, so we actually drove in the pitch dark with our face masks on, and then we just saw the sunset in the complete dark. It was already past, but that was where they usually see sunsets. And I've been there with Sarah. When I did it overnight with Sarah like 2 years ago, we did that, and it was like, oh, very fun to do that with her. But since there was no sunset, we just drove around, and like a quick 20-minute drive, and it was pitch dark, so we turned off the car lights and the headlights, and it was like, oh, let's be in the dark for like a minute. And it was just kind of funny. It was so dark that Jenny had to put her bright lights on, and she kind of mixed it up with the blinkers because she couldn't even see that well. But it was kind of funny to just see the camp at night via the day. We went back home, and we decided to watch a movie. It was like 9:30 at this point, and we watched a funny movie. I sat on the couch. The couch is so comfy with the blanket, and then Jenny sat in a chair like opposite to me, and the TV was like mounted near like the edge of the cabin, so we could both clearly see it. And then the movie ended around 11:30-ish, and then I went to bed at midnight, and I was happy to just do lots of exercising by the lake, and it was a really fun day. And then it was my first time ever sleeping up on a loft, so I had to climb stairs. I said, Jenny, can you turn on the bottom light so I could just see something during the nighttime, because I don't sleep with complete darkness. I usually sleep with like something that is somewhat bright. So she gave me a flashlight too, and she was really kind and reassuring that everything was going to be okay. She was just like, let me know what you need. It's like she was nurturing like a mother, because she is a mother to me when it comes to things like that. And I was really happy to just be in a comfy bed on a loft, and I had a great night's sleep. I woke up at 9:45, so I got a good 9.5 hours of sleep. And Jenny woke up at like 7:30, 7:45, and then she got out of bed at 8 a.m. And then she was like having breakfast on the back patio with like some blueberry muffins, some watermelon, and some cherries. So she was just like drinking her coffee and eating her breakfast and like watching something on her phone or doing Facebook. So I knew that she was outside when I got awake, and then I had to wear my retainer at night. I was in my pajamas when I slept, and when I went out to join her for breakfast, and I was just very like relaxed and mellow. And then Jenny got to experience my personality when it came to that, and then we sat out for like 30 minutes. We saw all the birds around us, and we were in nature, and it was quiet. It was paradise. It was a great escape from the city. I got ready, Jenny got ready, we cleaned up from breakfast and packed our bags, and then we took another walk around the camp. Not in the woods as deep as we went yesterday, but like a little bit closer in where we could just pass the cabins, and that was really fun. And it was like, the camp is pretty steep, like lots of winding and down and turning roads. I felt like it was like a 3D like brain thing. It was just like, wow, I can't even believe that. Like, you can't even see where you're going sometimes. Like, oh, you have to like lift your head to like see where you're going because it's steep. But it was nice to take a little walk around the neighborhood area, and it's all gated in community, so it's all like secure and safe. So I felt safe with her, and then we headed back down to the lake after a little walk, and we said our final goodbyes. We sat on the dock for a bit longer, and then we headed back home to her cabin to do the final touches of moving things in the car and getting ready to leave. And that took like maybe 20 minutes to do. And then we drove, and then we went to get smoothies. And that was on our way back. And again, we were wearing our face mask, and we were both in the front seat. And it was just a really fun learning experience to learn a lot from Jenny from our overnight. I have learned a lot. We did run into some deer. I actually did feed some deer, and there was one deer in particular that was a buck, a young buck, and he was kind of aggressive. I was out of the car, Jenny was in her car, and I had a bag full of carrots because I brought carrots for them, and one of them, really, I was starting to back away from that one. He was like in my face, and then I backed like 10 feet, and then he was still following me, and then Jenny had to put the car between me and the deer, and then I had to go around her car, and then the buck followed me the opposite way, and then Jenny had to go back and park to get me, and then we had to roll up our windows, and Jenny did film a minute of the incident before it got serious, and then she had to stop filming, take care of me, make sure I was safe and secure, and then boom, we were out when the buck was kind of like feisty and aggressive. And I don't know, she did remind me that they're wild animals, because sometimes I forget that they're wild animals, because they're just so used to people, and I'm so used to animals, and it's a deer that grew up around people their whole life. But that deer kind of knew that he was in charge, and I didn't want to back away and turn my back at him, so that's why I took steps back. And then Jenny felt fine when she knew that I was safe, and then it was good. I trusted her. I knew what she was doing, and she tried to honk her horn. That didn't work. Then I had to go around the car, and it's like, good thing that was situated out. And then that was the crazy deer experience. We didn't run into raccoons. We just saw deer, only a few, not that many. And it was nice to eat breakfast by the campfire. The electric fireplace was open, and we ate all the dinners and breakfasts and lunches outside. So it was very outdoorsy. We only spent literally 12 hours in the cabin sleeping or cooking or getting ready to leave. So it was literally, we were outside most of the trip, and it was really fun because we had nice weather. It was just a really good day. And then we drove back, got our smoothies, as I just said, and then we came back to my house. I arrived home at 3 p.m. So it was a good, relaxing, meditating trip. Like, it was just so much fun to just relax and be in nature, because I love that. I learned a lot from being in nature and traveling, and Jenny was a big support. She helped me, we learned, we made a great team. So I really appreciate that Jenny took me on that trip, and I might do more overnights in the future, and might go on the dock and on her boat eventually too. So again, it was a first experience to do the overnight with her, and she was just so welcoming, and she treated me as if I was her daughter, and she said, do anything you want. She was I didn't have any anxiety besides that deer attack, kind of. But besides that, it was a really relaxing trip. I just made a couple videos on YouTube, and then I wrote a Facebook post on what I just said to you guys in a little Snapchat of it on my page, on my post on Facebook. So besides that, I have my phone, I had internet and Wi-Fi and cell service, and then I didn't even have to use my charger for my phone unless it was at night, but it was fun. I brought my food back. We had a great trip. So that's my recap, and the trip was 10 out of 10. That's pretty good. So I appreciate Jenny and her husband letting me stay there, and it was a nice cabin feel. So that's my recap of my trip of Lake Merwin 2020, and I'll see you guys in my next video.